welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over my September and October favorites. If you do want to see what I've been loving in the months of September and October, then please keep watching. The first product that I've been loving in the months of September and October is by BECCA. This is their Skin Love Foundation. It does match me perfectly. I am in the shade Amber. I love how skin like this foundation makes me look. I'm just going to pump some out on the back of my hand so you guys can see what this foundation looks like. You don't really need a lot of the foundation. I just pumped out 2 pumps. It's very full coverage. This foundation does not get cakey on me whatsoever. It wears beautifully throughout the day and it is long lasting on my oily skin. I don't think that this foundation does blur because it does say here Weightless Blur Foundation. I do agree that this foundation is lightweight. You only need about 2 pumps to cover up your entire face, and that's what I love about this foundation. I do like the packaging on this foundation. It is in a squeezy tube so that way I can get all the foundation out. I am about right here in the middle of the foundation. I have been using this foundation non-stop, but I've discovered my holy grail drugstore foundation, and this is only $12. The foundation that I'm talking about is by Makeup Revolution. This is their Conceal and Define Foundation. I love this full coverage foundation. I literally only need 1 layer of this foundation and I'm good to go. Now, one thing I don't like about this foundation is the packaging. It does come in this huge doe foot applicator. I did also review this foundation for an entire week and I do like how this foundation does wear throughout the day. Now, this foundation does oxidize. You can see that the foundation is lighter when you do apply it to your skin, but then after you blend out this foundation using your fingers, a beauty blender, a sponge, whatever, it just blends beautifully into your skin. This foundation is definitely a skin-like foundation. It matches your skin perfectly. When I first purchased this shade in F12.5, I thought this foundation would be a little bit too dark for me. Because I purchased mine online, it wasn't yet available in stores. But just looking at it, I was like, oh, that might be a little bit too dark. But I am currently wearing the foundation. If you have not seen my full week's wear test, I will link it right up here in the card. I can achieve full coverage using just 1 layer, and that is just unheard of in a drugstore foundation. I highly recommend you guys purchase this foundation. It is only $12. It's a great foundation. It's long lasting. I love the formula. The only thing that I don't like about this foundation is the packaging. I don't think I could travel with this foundation because it is a frosted glass bottle, so it might break in my makeup bag, but I really do love this foundation. I love the wearability of the foundation and I love the formula. The next product I've been really obsessed with in the month of September, and this is by Cover FX. This is their Power Play Concealer. I love this concealer because it does not crease on me. I'm currently wearing this concealer underneath my eyes. I am getting a little bit creasy underneath my eyes. That's because I've been wearing this concealer and the foundation for about 6.5 hours now. This concealer is so good. I love how this concealer does wear throughout the day. It does have this little circle applicator. The applicator on this concealer is so unique. The concealer matches me perfectly. It brightens up underneath the eyes. And I feel like you don't have to use a lot of product. For me, I applied a little bit too much of concealer, but you really don't have to use a lot of it, and this just blends out like a dream. The shade that I did purchase this in is an N Medium 4. This eyeshadow palette I've been constantly using. It's by BAREMINERALS. This eyeshadow palette is their Aurora Lights eyeshadow palette. I reviewed this on my channel as well. I will link it right up here in the cards. I love using this eyeshadow palette because all the mattes and all the metallic shades in this eyeshadow palette are so creamy. They're so buttery. It blends effortlessly on the eyes. I'm currently wearing this eyeshadow palette on my eyes. I blended this shade in Wavelength all over my crease. I then applied the shade Stardust all over the lid, and then I used the shade Santorini as well on the lid as well, and I blended those 2 shades together. And then from my inner corner, I used the shade Presto just to brighten up the look. This is a great eyeshadow palette. It's super versatile. I do also love this huge mirror that BAREMINERALS did add to this eyeshadow palette. The only con about this eyeshadow palette is that I can't bend it all the way back like the palette because it won't bend back, but it does stay open where you can dip into your eyeshadows. And another con is that this eyeshadow palette does get very dirty because of the outer packaging. It is white, so mine has already gotten dirty because I've been using it a couple of times. So now moving on to my favorite lip product. These 2 lip products I've been constantly mixing together or even using them alone. These 2 shades are Pumpkin Spice and Hot Butter Rum. I currently have both of these shades applied to my lips. I first applied the shade Pumpkin Spice all over my lips, and then in the center I have the shade Hot Butter Rum. These 2 shades have been my non-stop go-to shades. When I do feel like my lips get a little bit too dry using a matte liquid lipstick, I definitely reach for this shade in Tantalize by BAREMINERALS. This is a glossy lip. It's not sticky, it's not gooey. Since this is a gloss, it is going to transfer and it might even get in your hair sometimes when the wind is blowing. But I do love this shade because it is Your Lips But Better. It's just a beautiful glossy shade. I love this shade so much. I'm just going to swatch the other two shades. So here we have the shade Hot Butter Rum. That's what I have in the center of my lips. And then all over my lips I have the shade Pumpkin Spice. Sometimes I even use all three of these shades. And the last product that I've been loving in the month of September and October is a fragrance scent. This is by Giorgio Armani. This fragrance is called CSI. I do have the little packaging here. This is actually my second little sample size. I did purchase a rollerball as well. I currently am wearing this fragrance. It does have a woody vanilla scent. It has rose in it and a little bit of pear in it. That's some of the top notes in this fragrance. I just love this scent. It just smells very feminine, very girly, very mature. I actually did purchase a full-size bottle of this fragrance. I used the Sephora VIB sale. Using the 20% off for Rouge members really does help. I did end up saving 20% off of this fragrance. This is a very expensive fragrance. I really do think that the bottle is going to last a really long time. I also do like the lasting power of this fragrance. For me at least, this fragrance does last. I know when my sister did use this fragrance, it didn't really last on her, but for some reason it lasts a really long time on me. You can smell it throughout the day. I just spritz a little bit in the morning and then throughout the evening you can still smell this scent. So now we're going to get into the items that did not really work out for me in the months of September and October. If you guys love these products, please don't hate me for this because to each their own. Some people have different opinions. Some products work well for others, but for me, these products just did not work out for me. This eyeshadow palette I've been wanting to love since it's been hyped up all over YouTube, but I really just can't love this eyeshadow palette because it's not consistent. The eyeshadow palette that I am talking about is by Too Faced. It's the Gingerbread Spice eyeshadow palette. I did review this palette on my channel as well. I just feel like a lot of these shades are not consistent. This shade right here in Sugar Daddy does have a lot of fallout. It just sits on the eyes. It doesn't blend very well. And then you have this shade in Hot Toddy. I feel like it's not pigmented on the eyes. I did wet my brush using this eyeshadow. This eyeshadow just sits on the lid and just crumbles throughout the day on me, so it's not long lasting. I'm not going to talk too much about this eyeshadow palette because I did do an in-depth review on the swatches and I did create an eyeshadow look using this palette. I really did not like this eyeshadow palette. It was not consistent. A lot of the shades didn't work for me. A lot of the shades were not as pigmented as I expected it to be. This eyeshadow palette was really not worth the hype in my opinion. This next product is by CLARISONIC. This is the CLARISONIC makeup brush head. You're supposed to use this with your CLARISONIC. You're supposed to apply your makeup evenly on your face without any brush marks. But for me, I felt like this brush head did not work out for me. I did find using this brush head did slow down my makeup application. I really did have to keep using my CLARISONIC and just rubbing this foundation brush in, and it really wasn't worth it in my opinion. At first I thought maybe it's the makeup brush, maybe it's the tool that I'm using, maybe I need to get another CLARISONIC or another brush head. So I decided to pick up another brush head. It was the same experience. Just don't really think the CLARISONIC brush heads work for me. This next foundation did not last long on my skin, and this is by NYX. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. The shade range for my skin complexion was not really there. The two shades that I did purchase was Caramel and Golden Honey. These two shades were too light for me. I do like how NYX did come out with 45 different shades, but there wasn't a shade for me. And also, I did not like the formula. I did not like how it wore throughout the day on me, even though these shades were a little bit too light for me. I'm just going to show you guys. So this is the shade Caramel. I feel like these two shades did not work for me. One was way too golden and the other one just did not match me at all. I even tried mixing these shades together. It just wasn't there for me. This next foundation I really wanted to love because it claimed to be a matte foundation. I really thought that I would fall in love with this foundation. And this foundation is by IT Cosmetics. This is their CC Your Skin But Better. This is an oil-free matte foundation. I love the packaging of this foundation. I love that you can squeeze all of it out. And I do like that this foundation does have a pump. I pumped out one pump of the foundation just to show you guys what I was talking about. This shade is way too light on me. I never got full coverage using this foundation. I did not really like the formula, and I just felt like the shade range was not there for me. I do like how this foundation does have sunscreen in it. Even if IT Cosmetics did have a shade for me, I just did not like the formula. I felt like I did have to use a lot of product just to achieve a full coverage look. I don't think this foundation is full coverage. It does say poreless finish. This foundation was not a poreless finish. This foundation did enhance my texture and my pores, so I did not like this foundation. The next product that did not work out for me is by First Aid Beauty. This concealer is their Bench Candy Avocado Concealer. I do love the doe foot applicator on here. I just don't like the formula of this concealer. I find that this concealer is very light on my skin complexion and it is a very thin formula. When you do blend out this concealer, it just blends out into nothing basically. I applied a good amount on the back of my hand, like how I would normally apply my concealer underneath my eyes, but literally this concealer does not cover up anything. It basically blends out into nothing. This concealer did not cover up any of my dark circles. I feel like this product was literally a waste of money, but for me this concealer did not perform as I would expect it to. The last disappointing product in the month of September and October is by NARS. This is their Climax mascara and I just did not like how clumpy this mascara made my eyelashes look. I don't like the wand on this, and this was a deluxe sample that I received from Ulta. I used this mascara a couple of times and it created a lot of clumps on my eyelashes. Let me know in the comments down below what are some of your favorite products in the month of October. I would love to know what you guys have been loving. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.